Hey, it's your girl, Allison Williams.
Hey, this is Devon Howard.
Hi, this is Beth.
Hi, this is Cindy Mizell.
Hi, this is Tony Walker.
Hey, what's good, y'all? This is Darian Dean.
Hey, everybody, this is the Queen of Philadelphia, Tanqueray Hayward.
Hey, everybody, this is Yasira.
Hi, this is Mason.
Hey, everybody, this is Russell Taylor.
Hey, guys, what's up? This is Ness.
Hey, this is Kenny Allen.
What's up, everybody? This is Cecily.
Hey, this is Corey J.
Hey, this is your girl, Castella.
Hey, everybody, this is Rebecca G.
Hey, everyone, this is Hill Street Soul.
What's up, good people? This is bassist Hubert Eaves IV.
This is Melvin Lee Davis.
Yo, what's second? This is Noel Gordon.
Hey, this is your girl, Lady Alma, and you're listening to my friend Troy Saunders on the Bass Entertainment Podcast.
Hey, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Bass Entertainment Podcast. This is your boy, Troy here, yeah. You know, I love getting a little hand claps up. Gotta give myself some hand claps. Hey, you know what? Welcome to another episode. I am glad that you are here. We are doing it strong this summer. And in case you don't know what we do here, in case you're just tuning in because you know that the artist we have today is the one of those people that you really love, and you're just tuning into us, we do give you the best in indie, jazz, soul, R&B, house, inspirational, and we give you a little hip hop too. You know, anything that's going to make you feel good, it's going to make you jump up, it's going to make you want to love one another. That's what we do here. It's all about love here at the Bass Entertainment Podcast. Yeah, love deserves little hand claps. Yeah. So, last week, as I told you, I want to say thank you again to the Recording Academy, yeah, because I was just nominated into the class of 2024 as a Recording Academy member. So I'm still riding on the high of that one because I've been looking for this for years, and now I'm able to put my input in to what goes on at the Academy. So I am glad to be proud Academy member, yeah. Now, we going to get to the gentleman that we have on today. Now, this brother, he's legendary all over the world. I remember, because we both went to Erasmus Hall High School. You know, every time I'm on this podcast, I'm talking about E Hall. E Hall is the ish, in case you didn't know. But this brother went to Erasmus, and his name is D-Train. Yes, Mr. D-Train. And you might know this brother from hits like Music and Keep On. Keep On is my ish. And You're the One for Me. Oh my God, the list just goes on and on and on. And we're going to get to some of those songs. But before we do that, I'm going to start with a little bit of music because that's what this podcast is about. We talk about music here. So what better way to start than Mr. D-Train's music? So I know y'all know this. Check it out.
What would you do without music? Where would you be without a song? Whoa. I don't know. What would you do without your music? Where would you be without song? How would you feel without your music? What would you do without song? People often ask me, can I climb a mountain top? I say, yes, I can. 'Cause I got music to make my spirit rock. I say, yes, I can. Listen, you've got the power, be who you want to be.
Yeah. Yo, let me tell you something. We talk about over 40 years ago, and it's still pumping. What are you talking about? That's how you know music is bad. That's how you know it. Hey, without further ado, let me introduce to you the incredible, the incomparable Mr. D-Train, y'all.
Hey, what's up, Troy? How you doing, man?
What's up? What's up? I'm excited, Dave. If you didn't know, I'm excited.
Hey, you know how we say in Erasmus, Deele.
Deele. Hey, and you was on the football team. Look, what do you think about the football team nowadays? They are whooping everybody's behind, aren't they?
Let me tell you something. They went back to Yankee Stadium so many years in a row.
Yeah.
I was like, we never went to Yankee Stadium. We beat Andrew Jackson when we won it, but doggone, they got like AstroTurf fields. We played on grass and got our legs cut up and hands scuffed. Now it's all pretty. They got night games. I'm like, we ain't never had a night game.
Right? I'm like, this Erasmus Hall High School football team is doing it nowadays. Matter of fact, they went to London also. They played overseas. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, earlier this year.
Crap. Oh, man, you know what? I wish Wayne G was alive to see that.
I know.
Because he was the one that kept us all together. Wayne Gabriel, who was captain of the team when I played, man, he was that guy. And even after, you know, we all got older and it was 30 or 40 years had passed, and he'd hold those homecoming games and everybody would come home. Blondie, Sugar Bear, you know, everybody, Heavy. You know, we all come back just to see the team play. They had the Dutchman corner, and they'd sit out there and they eat and cook out and stuff. You know, it was like a cookout.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. I took my daughter one year, and she really had a good time.
I think they still do it. I just can't get there when they do it. I know Wayne G is not doing it, but somebody else is doing it.
Sunday
yeah.
or Saturday.
Usually on the Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, weekends, you know, it's kind of tough, you know, because what happens is, it's like I always talk to Will Downing. I'm like, hey, man, you want to do a concert in the chapel?
Right? Y'all should.
In the chapel and do a concert. I said, hey, man, Neil Diamond did it.
Right.
Why can't we? Will's like, I'm never stepping foot in that school again.
Why? Why not?
He said, I graduated. I ain't never going back.
Come on, Will. You should do it.
That's right. Will, you should do it. We should have a Will Downing campaign for him to come back and do it in a homecoming.
Exactly.
We should call it Coming Home.
Right. That's
because if Neil Diamond could do it and sell it out, we could do it too.
Definitely. And you know Miss Fleischer's still alive.
I know she goes to his gigs.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I gotta invite. But see, my kids is always in clubs, and I don't know if Bernice gonna roll up in a club. We'll be doing like the NJ Pack Center, you know, Madison Square Garden. I ain't doing that stuff. I ain't done that stuff in a while. So I doubt if she gonna come down to the shelter. Bernice ain't coming to the shelter. She be like, oh my Lord, what have you gotten yourself into, James?
Okay, because I was just talking to a couple of years ago, last year, because another person I graduated with, Erica Conroy, she was like, we should do a Erasmus Hall documentary and get everybody that used to be went to Erasmus in this documentary. And she said, let's see if Miss Fleischer would get in. So I called Miss Fleischer up and she was like, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, wow, okay. So, I mean, we still haven't got it off the ground yet.
But that would be really cool because I don't know if Gabe Kaplan is still alive. Mm-hmm. So welcome back, Cotter. You can reach out to him. Barbra Streisand is definitely still alive.
Yep.
Probably you'd have to jump through a billion hoops. But when you say Erasmus, I bet you she got something to say about it.
That's what I'm saying. We should find a way to get this happening. You know?
Yeah, we got Barry Eastman, Kedar Massenburg,
Clive Davis.
You know, Clive Davis, yeah.
Bernadette Stanis.
Yeah. Oh, Bernadette Stanis with the Erasmus? Yep. I did not know that.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I mean, so many people. So
wow. Well, you know, it's funny. I work out with Jimmy Walker out here in Vegas. He works out at Planet Fitness sometime at 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't talk to him because Jimmy don't like being bothered. Now, I don't want to act like a fan and say, hey, how you doing, Jimmy? He goes, because when people walk up to him and say, hi, how you doing? Can I get your autograph? He goes, get away from me. Get away from me. I said, well, y'all better leave Jimmy alone.
Right? Like I said, I don't like rolling up on anybody either. So, like, I mean, one time I saw Aretha Franklin on 57th Street.
Lord.
She looked at me like, are you going to say something? I said, no, I ain't going to say nothing, but I know who you are. I just nodded. She nodded back and went on into, where was she going into? Chanel or one of those places. And I was like,
oh, okay. Wow.
So she said, well, I know you know how I am. I said, yeah, I know you are, girl. But yeah, I'm not going to run up on anybody. Even though I saw, like, I used to run into a whole lot of people, but I just like, no. Like, I have a friend of mine, she would run up on anybody.
Oh my God.
But I'm glad she does because I got to meet a whole lot of people that she ran up on and became friendly with. So she got to get the gab.
You know, a lot of people are still in New York and a lot of people left New York. Like a lot of the musicians, like Sharon Bryant, who was the former lead singer of Atlantic Star, and Daryl Tukes and Fonzie Thornton, who was Luther Vandross's best friend. A lot of those guys, Carlos Alomar, who wrote Let's Dance with David Bowie. These guys are now professors down at NYU.
Mm-hmm.
And because the world is changing in such a way, there's no more session work because everybody got studios in their home. So nobody's paying any more exorbitant amount of money to the hit factory like we had to do with Michael and Luther and all that stuff, paying thousands of dollars a day just to record your song. Then you had to pay the engineer a couple of $1,000 a day. Now you just do it in your house, and you can do it with good musicians from around the country because everything now is internet. Yeah. Troy, it's just, that's the way it is.
So let me ask you, I was going to get to that because I was going to ask you, if the internet was around when you first came out, do you think you would still wanted to be a part of a major label, or would you have done it independently?
I would still want to be part of a major label. And Prelude, thank God, was not a major label.
No, it wasn't.
It was an independent label on 57th Street because at the time when Hubert took my demo to all of the record labels, Capitol Records, Columbia Records, Arista, Elektra, back then you had RCA, you know, they all turned it down. They said, he can't sing. Why don't you get a girl on those records? He's too loud. His own father, Hubert's own father said, he's too loud, son. Tell him to tone it down. And Hubert was like, no, that's the way he sings, you know? So there was so much dissension on my voice. They did not like it. And he took it up to Prelude Records at the time, which was a major component in the independent market with Franz Jolie, the Strikers, Nick Stryker's band. You know, you had Unlimited Touch. And Joyce, what was her name? Oh, I can't remember her name. Joyce, oh, God. And it's right on the tip of my tongue. But they had so many artists up there. And it was a wonderful thing to be part of that roster because back then we had clubs, Troy. Mm-hmm. We can go up to, you know, the Silver Shadow on 57th Street. We go down to 14th Street to the Underground. We have Bonds International on 45th, you know, on Broadway. We had the Paradise Garage in the Meatpacking District. You know, you had everything was all over the place. So every week we were doing 3 and 4 shows. And the music represented that. And if you didn't have a major label pushing you out there, and Frankie Crocker loved us.
Yes.
So back then, the way New York radio worked, if Frankie loved it, the country loved it.
That's right.
Because whatever Frankie loved went all the way across the USA. Because everybody was watching what he did. It was the truth. He was the chief rocker, Frankie Crocker.
Yes, he was.
You know.
Hey, this is Toy Taha, and you're listening to Troy Saunders on the Bass Entertainment Podcast. Keep it locked right here.
So let me ask you another question. So, of course, we all know, well, I know and you know, that you and Will down and went to Erasmus. You graduated a year before Will.
Right. Yeah, I graduated in 80. Will got out in 81. But Will was the one that really peeped me. I sang in the church choirs with Reverend Timothy Wright. Ronnie Dyson was my choir director when I was a kid. Al Sharpton, we knew him as Alfred. He was my junior church minister when I was a kid. So I grew up in that mega church in Brooklyn on Bedford and Bergen, Washington, Temple Church of God in Christ. And, you know, after getting out of that church, it was hard to go to a small church. It really was, because we had a great pastor in Bishop Washington, Madam Washington. So you had your values set in you. You know, you had those lines and those barriers that you did not cross. And when I got to Erasmus, I only went to Erasmus for one reason and one reason alone. When I first entered Troy, I got tired of running. I went to a white neighborhood. My mother bused me to PS 153 on Avenue T in Homecrest out there in Brooklyn in the 60s, 70s. And it was the Italian neighborhoods, and racism was at its height at 3 o'clock. So going to junior high school, I wanted to get into athletics. I wanted to play on the baseball team or the basketball team. Couldn't do it, because after 3 o'clock, the kids, the whole neighborhood changed. The fathers came home. You're dealing with the Italian mafia out there in Brooklyn near Sheepshead Bay. So you had to, you know, we would have to run to catch that train, that D train at Kings Highway. And it was one block going that way. So, and the kids that was in school with you, or either the Italian kids in the neighborhood, they were throwing rocks at us, man. Now you ain't got your mother for protection, no bus taking you home. You got to make it up them stairs to the train station before the white kids beat you up or jump you. And we would all go in groups together so we didn't get jumped. You know, and we could make it back to Prospect Park in Brooklyn. Once we got to Prospect Park, we knew we were safe.
Right.
You get past Church Avenue in Newkirk, you knew you was good. But I got tired of that, man. I got so tired of doing this once I got on train at Kings Highway, because you didn't know if it was coming up the stairs, if it was going to hit you from. So when I went to Erasmus, it was a beautiful school. First of all, it is probably the most beautiful school in Brooklyn, because the campus that we had, if you remember,
I remember.
The flowers were better than Brooklyn. Erasmus looks better than Brooklyn College.
I agree.
You know, and the way they kept the campus with the schools, it was just beautiful going there. I felt privileged. And then one day I went down in the chapel and I was going to class. I think it was my lunch hour. And I didn't have money for lunch, so I wandered past the chapel. And I looked in there, and Will Downing was in there singing with Joseph Williams. And they were sitting, Joseph was playing the piano, and Will was singing All About Love by Earth, Wind, and Fire. And all the boosters and the cheerleaders, they were like, I was like, oh, man, I want to do that. I want to be like him, right? So I moseyed on down there, and I just sat in the back. So Will was like, hey, man, why don't you come on up? I had my football jacket on. So, you know, Will was still singing. He said, do you sing at all, man? I said, well, I sing a little bit. So he said, let me hear you sing. And I sang All About Love, and I sang Maurice's part. And Will was sitting there going, you need to get in the choral club.
Okay.
So he got me in the chorus. He is totally responsible for getting me in the chorus with Miss Fleischer. And then I didn't want, you know, I'm still a football player. He wanted me to be in all the plays. He's like, we doing the South Pacific, man. I want you to do South Pacific. I was like, what's my role in this? But, you know, I never saw the movie, and I didn't know what my role was, Troy. I'm one of the captains of the football team, man. I had to wear a grass skirt with blonde wig, lipstick, and eyelashes. Man, let me tell you something. And I was dating this girl named Deborah Francis at the time, and she was from the West Indies.
Hey, you know they don't play that.
Her father was like, what's wrong with your boy, man? What's wrong with your boy? Deborah, you can't see him no more. Yeah, I can keep boy turn into a girl. I'm telling you, I went through the whole thing, Troy. But our friendship grew through that year. And over the years, that's the way I got into the record business. Will is the reason I am here today. I was going, when I graduated, I was at Brooklyn College, and he called me up one day and he said, D, can you come and sing for me at Sound Lab Studios on East 14th Street, Sheepshead Bay? I hadn't been out in Sheepshead Bay since I left that school, Cunningham Junior High School. So I went back out there and got to the studio, and he had a demo that he was doing called The Real Deal that he wrote, one of his first songs. And I'm singing backgrounds on it. And this guy walks in the door, and Will took a break and whispers in my ear, yo, man, that's a big time producer. He worked with Donny Hathaway, Roberta Flack, Norman Connors, everybody, man. So do your thing, right? And I was like, okay. So then he said, so after I finished the background part, he said, do some step out leads. I said, all right. So I started going, and Will was like, and then Hubert was eating Chinese food. He was like, so he put the Chinese food down. So that after the session, I go home and I get a call from Will later that night. He's like, yo, D, Hubert wants you to come by his house tomorrow. Here's his number. Give him a buzz. I went to Hubert's house the next day. He lived on Ralph and Jefferson in Brooklyn. And he had a nice little cute house over there. I went over there because I thought I was going to the projects. I was like, oh, man, I ain't like the Brevoort over there on Fulton Street. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to the Brevoort projects and do a session.
Okay.
I'm going to get robbed, dude, going down Fulton Street, because you know how Fulton Street was back in the day. So.
Yeah, it ain't like it is now.
Oh, yeah, no. So I get to his house, and he says, hey, man, you know, I love your voice, and I love the way you sing. Got this song. And he had a 1/4-inch reel-to-reel, and he played it for me. And it went, and he said, all I got is, I'll stand up on the cloud and shout out loud, you're the one for me. He said, that's all I got, man. Can you hear anything else? I said, play it again. So then he started playing it again. I said, give me a pen, give me paper. So he gave me a pad. We wrote that song within an hour.
Wow.
And we recorded at his house, and the rest is history. And every time we got together, we wrote Keep On. You know, we did Walk On By after that. We did Trying to Get Over. And we had a chemistry that we built as songwriters to that everywhere we got together, it was like magic. Mm-hmm. And it still is.
It is.
It's still magical when I get around it, because it's like the student and the teacher, you know, because even today, at 62 years old, my methodology in writing a song is very much from what I learned from Hubert. Coming up with sounds. I sit there, it may take me 2 or 3 hours to go through every sound on every keyboard that I need. But that was the patience that Hubert exhibited. It would take him 2 days to get a drum snare. We'd be sitting in that studio for 2 days going, no,
that's not it. That's not it.
And you're sitting in the other room talking about, can you hear or not? Do you need some headphones and stuff? I mean, but he was that meticulous because he wanted to be like Steely Dan, like Donald Fagen, like Todd Rundgren, like Lionel Richie, like Prince, because those guys, and Michael Jackson, they took time for excellence. And anything less than excellence wouldn't do for him. And I learned excellence from Hubert.
You know what? That's the perfect prequel to your hit, You're the One for Me.
Yeah, man.
You know,
first hit.
You know, we cannot do this podcast without giving people, you know, a little You're the One for Me. So here we go, y'all.
Absolutely, brother.
Absolutely.
Have inside of me, we can turn this world around. We can live through all eternity, and we never touch the ground. We'll take a chance to ride upon a star to a place that's far away. The light of love will shine on us forever and a day.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. When this came out, this had all of New York City rocking. Everybody in New York City was rocking on this song. My father must have played this song 20 times one night. And he was like, yes, yes, yes. He was
It was funny. What? When it first came out, we were invited to come to WBLS with Frankie Crocker. Francois Kevorkian had done the B-side, and Hubert had that on the 12-inch. Frankie played the B-side first, and me and Hubert are driving down Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn towards the Brooklyn Bridge going into Manhattan, going up to BLS. And I thought Hubert had taken my vocals off the record. Oh, I was getting ready to fight with him in the car. I was like, yo, really? You going to take my vocals off the song? And why would you do something? He said, D, they playing the B-side.
Right.
They'll play the A-side sooner or later. And when we got up there, Frankie had played it for us, man. And we had gone, I didn't know, in a matter of, like, it felt like minutes, we went to #1 on the Billboard charts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was 19 years old, just turning 20, and the world had opened up. And the next thing you know, I'm on the road opening up for Parliament Funkadelic with George Clinton for a number of years on the Miller Sound Express. Back in the day, it was a truck that's a stage that went all across the country with every band from Peabo Bryson, Atlantic Star, Ozone,
right.
You know, the Fat Larry's band, you know. It was so Midnight Star, all of them. What was that group Babyface was in?
The Deele.
I only think of you.
The Deele.
The Deele.
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed Babyface one day when I had him on my show up at Sirius Radio one day, and he said, "Man, by the time you hit the stage, we was on the tour bus heading to the next town." He said, "That's how far down the totem pole we were. We were like the opening act before the other 20 came on, before you came on." I said, "Wow." But it's wonderful to still be around after 40-something years, Troy, and see your face, because so many of our contemporaries aren't here.
That's so true.
So many of my buddies aren't here. Colonel Abrams,
yeah,
you know, Johnny Kemp, Oliver Cheatham,
Bernard Wright.
Get there on Saturday night. Yeah. So many of them. And, you know, you look at them and you go, wow, man. Michael Jackson. I work with Michael on Invincible at the Hit Factory. I work with Luther at the Hit Factory on Dance with My Father. Mm-hmm. You know, I sang on a song called She Saw You with him in the studio. And you look around and it's like the room feels like it's getting empty.
Yeah.
It feels like everybody leaving the session and you the only one left in the room.
Yeah.
And this goes for musicians like Chick Corea. You know, you're like, wait a minute, I just did the Kennedy Center honors with Chick.
Right.
Really? He's gone? You know,
but George Duke.
David Sanford.
I was thinking about George Duke. You did it. So you wrote a couple of songs with George Duke. Right.
He recorded 2 of my songs. And it's just amazing how many are left. And it's wonderful that you have your podcast, because it keeps us alive. It keeps us relevant. It keeps us together, because at least we know where each other is.
Yeah.
And we could say, okay, you know what? He's still around. Because when you get to 62, everybody's like, it's downhill from here. I say it's uphill. Because you know what? I feel better. I look better at 62 than I did when I was 21.
I agree.
When I was 21, I was a fat boy. I could have joined the Fat Boys and been in the movie. I was 300 pounds, Troy. For real. Shoot. But, you know, now I'm healthy. I try to live a healthy lifestyle. God is good, man, and I'm still here. Got a beautiful wife, beautiful dog, and living out here in Vegas. And, you know, I realized after doing jingles in New York for 20 years, because, see, in my life, when God closed one door, he opened up another.
Yeah.
I was a recording artist in the beginning, and in 1988, the world changed with the advent of hip-hop merging into R&B with New Jack Swing and Teddy Riley. So when Keep Sweating Them Boys entered and Guy, it was like, what? What just happened? Mm-hmm. So when I'm doing shows, nobody don't want to hear D-Train. They want to hear New Jack Swing. And New Jack got its run, because everybody gets their 15 minutes, but it got it from like 1990 to around 1997. I'd say, you know, and then it was gone. And then it was Babyface. And then it was Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis for a while. You know, everybody gets their 15 minutes at the top of the mountain. That's when I bowed out and I started doing jingles in 1988. And it was a better payday economically for me because I didn't have to chase down promoters for my money in the back alleys of Brooklyn. I just walked to the mailbox.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the studio, you do what you got to do. And you learn about, and there are so many brilliant musicians that you meet who also had recording careers. But it's like you hear a lot of horror stories.
Yeah.
And you hear a lot of stories of brilliant musicians, why they didn't do, like, you know, there's singers in there who are better than the singers up there now on stage, like the Cindy Mizels and the Lisa Fisher.
I was about to bring them up.
Audrey Wheelers.
Yes.
And the Brenda White Kings.
Yeah.
And the Robin Clarks and the Diva Grays and the Fonzie Thorntons. And you say, what the hell is going on? They're better than the people that they're singing for.
Yep.
Zannies Thomas.
Yep.
Better than the people, Ada Dyer. Much better than the people that they're singing with.
Yes.
And you go, and I think that sometimes people who have thrown themselves into the game, like Lisa Fisher, who had a brilliant career, won a Grammy Award. You know?
Yeah.
How Can I Ease the Pain? Won a Grammy for it. Mm-hmm. But something in that business of being an artist and being at the top, you're controlled by the machine.
Yeah.
The machine comes in and tells you where to go, how to get there, when to smile, when not to smile, press conference, being on the road. Some people grow tired of being bossed around. And so many of my friends just said, okay, you know what? I'm going to sing background. So Lisa went into singing background for Luther for about 5 years. And then she got the gig of a lifetime singing behind Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones for the next 25.
Right.
You know, which is a much better. I ain't saying Luther ain't paying you right, but doggone it, you call me for the Rolling Stones, I'm gone, brother. You know? Shoot.
Right. Shoot.
Hi, this is Cindy Mizell, and you are listening to Bass Entertainment Podcast. Have a good time.
Matter of fact, I saw you and Lisa Fisher. Oh, you know that concert back in the day at Carnegie Hall, the tribute to Yvonne Lenz.
Yep, Jason Miles. He was the one that brought us together. Because, you know, on all of my albums, Lisa's, after my first album, Lisa is on every album after that. Lisa, Audrey, Cindy, Brenda White King, Will Downing even actually did my last album. And so those were our go-to girls. We didn't do an album without them. It just didn't happen. And they are the definition of the sound of a million people's records.
Please. They've sung with everybody. You know,
everybody, including God. When they get to heaven, they can look at the choir and say, yeah, what you doing? Who'd you work with?
And I'm so glad that, you know, like Cindy, I met her like in 92, was it? Because her cousin Patrick used to sing with Mariah. And, and he introduced me to her. And
wow.
And so sweet, so down to earth. I mean,
oh, that's my girl. Yeah, I love her.
Just incredible. So, and she came on the podcast and we had a good time, good conversation up on here. So,
oh, good.
Yeah, I love Cindy. I love her. I love Lisa. I mean, everybody that you mentioned is just top notch. They're just incredible, and I love them all.
Oh yeah, they call them the A team for a reason.
That's right. That's right.
When you want it done right, you call the A team. You don't call the B team. You call the A team.
Who was on here with her? Oh, Jennifer Holliday. Jennifer Holliday was on here.
I never met Jennifer. I worked with Jennifer Hudson at the Kennedy Center Honors, but I never worked with Jennifer Holliday, and I've always wanted to meet her.
Oh my God!
I had that album to play. Yeah.
Ooh.
Now there's a difference. When Jennifer Hudson sang that song, she sang it in the voice that she knew,
right?
Trying to replicate. But when Jennifer Holliday sang it, there was a gut-wrenching thing in there.
Right.
Like, my husband just left me. He trying to leave me for this younger piece. I'm a 300-pound woman. I done cooked for this man, clean his dirty drawers. He can't walk out on me. I got 5 kids. What's the problem?
Right.
He can't, and that's the place that it was coming from. It was like, how am I going to pay the rent when he leaves? It was like, ow, man. It was deep. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. It wasn't even commercial that time. You couldn't even get a church person to sing it that way because it was gut-wrenching, man. It was gut-wrenching, painful.
It was. And then when you see her do it live and she do that face and she says, man, and she's like,
oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You had to interact after that because what else somebody got to do? Everybody needed a break after that. It's time for intermission.
I wouldn't want to come on stage after either one of them, Jennifer Hudson or Jennifer Holiday.
I know that's right.
There's some male singers out there in the business who I'm like, nah, I'll just, like Luther was one of those people. I was nervous to be in the studio with him, working with him. But he's giving me direction, but I'm sitting at the feet of the master taking in lessons. Michael Jackson, we were given strict instructions. And Fonzie and them will tell you this. I was in there with Keith Fluid.
I know Keith.
Yeah. So we were given strict instructions. Don't look at him. Don't touch him. Don't hug him. Do not greet him. Don't shake his hand. And Troy, we did 3 days of worth of sessions with him. We were never in the same room as Michael. 3rd day, we're in the control booth with him and Bruce Swedeen. All the singers come in. Hi, Michael. And they walk to their seats. Hi, Michael. They go to their seat. Keith comes in. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Goes to his seat. Me, Troy? Yo, Michael, what's up? How you doing, dog? How you feeling? Yeah. That's Peter, Marlon, and Jermaine. I swear to God, Troy. I walked up to him, gave the biggest hug. I said, 1969, Ed Sullivan Show. I was there, baby. He said, Tito, Marlon, and Jimmy, you're fine. They're doing good. Well, I'm on this label, I'm in Columbia with Tommy Mottola. I hate him. He's a really evil bastard. I said, Michael, you said bastard. He said, I did. Oh, okay. But he started sharing with me. And all the singers, Keith and them were like, Ethan, if you don't shut the hell up, we're going to get fired. We're going to get fired off this session. Just shut up, Ethan, shut up. Oh, I can see it in their faces. They were pissed. So I sat down and then we did what we had to do in the studio. And then we took a break. And at the time when we did Michael's Invincible, I was still fighting in martial arts tournaments. So he had a bodyguard that was from Amsterdam. And the bodyguard stood outside the door in the kitchen area to, nobody goes in because Michael's in there. So I went outside to get a cup of tea or whatever it was, or soda. And I looked at him, I said, hey, man, you study martial arts? He goes, yeah. So what do you study? He goes, I study Wing Chun. I do this. I said, so how do you protect Michael when he goes through the crowd? He says, I use my Wing Chun to protect Michael. I said, does that work on big crowds? He said, yeah, it works a lot. I said, can you show me some? He said, yeah, what did you study? I said, Taekwondo. Me and him started trading blows out there in the lounge, right? And all of a sudden the door opens up and it's Michael. Because we're like, we're getting into it. Michael opens up the door and goes, guys, please don't break anything, please. So we stopped and we just started talking and it was it. I didn't behave well in that session. I said, well, if he don't hire me again, it's cool. I got to meet him. And then after the session, they had built this whole thing, a little wall in the kitchen that Michael went behind. You weren't supposed to go behind to say goodbye. You're supposed to wave over the wall. I walked behind that thing and said, hey, man, I'm out. I love you, bro. Cool. Good to see you. He goes, thank you. Thank you so much, D-Train, for coming. Thank you. Great job. Great job. If you treat him like a king and a monarch, he gonna behave like one.
Exactly.
I'm from Brooklyn. Troy, we from Bed-Stuy, do or die, Brownsville, never ran, never will. Brooklyn Heights. Let me tell you something. We don't put people up on pedestals.
Okay.
This is New York, baby. I don't care Sammy Davis Jr., the Ice Cube be walking down Broadway and 7th Avenue at 42nd Street. People going to keep going because they got to do their lunch hour and get back in the office. They wouldn't care if it was Tupac. It wouldn't matter to them. Boys to Men, I seen them walking down 57th Street. People walk past them like they part of the traffic. They don't care.
Right.
They ain't going to stop and go, oh, Boys to Men. That only happens in California. Okay, in Southern California, let me clarify. It ain't gonna happen in Northern California.
Nope.
Because that's more like New York. In Southern California, oh yeah.
So let me ask you a question. So when you, let's say, how was that when you was doing, in 1988, you did your last album with Columbia, right? What was the feeling? How would you tell artists to do that transition? How? Because it must be a feeling like, damn, what do I do now? Or I know you transitioned into doing jingles, but was it a feeling of a low that you feel like, damn, what did I do wrong?
Well, no, I did the Apollo Theater. I'll never forget it. When New Jack Swing came out, I did the Apollo Theater one last time. I don't remember what award show it was. My mother came to it with me. And I remember we had the single In Your Eyes on Prelude, which was banging. And I'm on stage, and that's when they had that dance where you do your shoulder thing, and I'm doing it. And all the rappers were sitting in the audience looking at me going, they were laughing at me. And you could feel like, what is this old fool doing?
But you wasn't old.
But that's when you found out that the landscape had changed. And the only one because everybody had to make adjustments at that point. New Edition became Belle Biv DeVoe because R&B was hip hop. So New Edition was gone. Bobby Brown went and made the transition into hip hop R&B. Ralph Tresvant did the same thing with Gentleman. Johnny Gill went off with LSG and did his solo thing. Everybody spread to the four winds. That's why I got called over by a guy named Bill Eaton and Deborah McDuffie. Debbie McDuffie was one of the biggest jingle singers, songwriters, and producers in New York. She produced Luther on, a lot of his jingles. She's probably the one that got him. Luther is the first black man to perform on Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
With Robin Clark and Fonzie.
Yeah. Sesame Street started with him. The first episodes was Luther. Yeah.
Luther and Fonzie and Robin Clark were the Young Americans.
Yeah.
For David Bowie.
Yeah.
So what happens is, when I got called into that transition, I was really glad because God's, the church taught me, and my mother always said, your gift will make room for you. If you keep God first, he'll make you second. So your gift will always make room for you. You just can't be someone who you think you are. People will always be out there telling you, you're a star, you're this, you're a legend, you're this. And Mtume said, that was my big brother in the music industry. He said, don't let anybody call you a star, D. I said, why? He said, you spell it backwards. And he wrote it on a piece of paper, star. He said, now spell that backwards. Run it backward for me. And when I spelled it backwards, it spelled rats. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? I'll never want to be a star. He said, good. And Mtume was always teaching me. He was always teaching me, whether it was working in the studio with him on, that television show that he had, or just being around him. I was always learning because he was so smart. Or whether I was watching him with Reverend Al Sharpton when they had their radio show and listening to him to Bob, what was Bob's last name?
On BLS?
Bob.
I don't want. Oh my God, I can't think of his name right now. They came on Sunday. Name. They come on Sunday.
Yes.
Bob.
Wow,
I can't think of his name either. But they were on BLS on Sunday. They used to do the talk show.
Yep. And they would talk about politics and black entertainment and black life in general. Who got shot this week? And it still happens to this day. what I've learned from our country is that racism has always been our Achilles heel.
Yeah.
We can have plenty of white friends who just do not understand why the hell we still getting shot. They don't even understand it. And their admission to it is like, well, it wasn't me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I have plenty of black friends. I'm not racist. But when the doors close and I'm not in the room, their conversation changes, just like ours change.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe we all have a cynicism, some type of racism in us, especially from where we come from.
Exactly.
We don't project it out onto people because we all come from different places. Some of us haven't been far enough around the world to know how to see God in different eyes.
Yeah.
Some of us only see him as Jesus Christ, Lord of Lords, and God have mercy. And they don't know about Paramahansa Yogananda. They didn't take the time to study about the Swamis of India. They didn't take time to study where does Buddhism come from, and who was Buddha. Who was the Indian people and the deities of India? Because I say to people all the time, yes, I grew up with Jesus Christ. I grew up in the Church of God in Christ. There were things that I found later on not to be true, that had nothing to do with Scripture or the Bible. I found gay ministers in there. I found pedophiles in there. Just like people found in the Catholic Church.
Right.
Whatever you're looking for in church, you're going to find just as many devils in them doors as you're going to find outside the doors.
You ain't
Even
lying.
though they will condemn everybody in the clubs, and this one is gay, and you're gay, and you're going to hell, man with a man. But they're not talking about the ones that's in the pulpit preaching that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes and gets with his man after with her one. It's just, and I've learned in my walk, Troy, and being in clubs, is that everybody has a different walk in life. And you know what? It's their life. It's not for you to judge. It's not for you to say who belongs in the conversation or who doesn't belong in the conversation. We are all inclusive. We are all God's children. Straight, gay, black, white, purple, green. I think even the Martians belong to God. But I'm just saying.
I mean, I agree.
We don't have time to judge because you know what happens? If each person knew how much time you had left on your human clock, there'd be a whole big change in the conversation. You notice that white racist Ku Klux Klansmen who know that they're on deathbeds and they're in hospices, they're like, I wish you didn't do the things I did to them niggers.
Yep.
I wish I didn't kill that many, boy. I tell you, I changed my life. Changed
it in the last minute.
Even the woman that had Emmett Till killed on her deathbed confesses he ain't never whistled at. Mm-hmm. But that 12-year-old boy died in a barn, tortured, getting his penis cut off, and his face bashed in for 12 hours in a night, in a dark night down there, because a white woman lied.
Yeah.
And it took them 40 plus years later for her to confess. And some people say, well, go ahead and burn in hell.
Yeah.
Because that boy didn't have to lose his life. Nope. But when you look at those examples, you say, okay, so where is the struggle today? Where is my blackness today? Do I wear it on my sleeve or do I wear it on my shoulder? Do I wear it as a cape or do I wear it as a badge of honor? Do I wear it as and for me, I wear it as a representation of where I come from to where I'm getting to.
All right.
Because you see, in my life, God has always left the front door closed and he left the back door open so I could always see where I came from. All the mistakes I've made, all the hills and valleys he carried me over. I could always turn around and say, oh man, I remember when I did this, so-and-so. Yeah, that wasn't right. Or I remember when I was in this bar hanging out with this one, cussing somebody out. Yeah, that wasn't right. All the people, women you slept with or whatever. Then you look at your future and that door is shut, Troy. You can't see through it. You can't unlock it. You can't push it. All you have is today. And that's what makes you the wealthiest person on the planet. Because just like all the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all of those wealthy families, the one thing that we all get that makes us equal is 24 hours.
Yeah.
24 hours is the great denominator that says, what am I going to do with my time? What am I going to do with my minutes? What am I going to do with my seconds? Am I going to sit up here and watch Netflix? Or I'm going to get busy about my business? Because so many of us sit up here and watch Netflix for hours or play video games for hours, and you're wasting time.
Yeah.
You're wasting time. You ain't got that much. If you knew how much time you had left, man, you'd be like, okay, so I need to do that. You'd be making lists, journals, all the other above. You'd be calling up people saying, I'm sorry, I cursed you out.
Right.
I didn't mean to do this. So you be on your game, man. And then for yourself, you would be the best person that you are, because what you learn in that second, when you appreciate yourself every morning, is that you are enough.
Hey, it's your girl, Allison Williams, and you're listening to Bass Entertainment.
You don't need nobody. I used to always think, coming from Brooklyn, I need money to have a career. So many people say, I need money to do a record. I need the public support to do a record. That's why I didn't do a record for so many years, Troy, because I said, I need a record company to do a record. Mm-hmm. And I realize now, I am the record company. I have my own record company. I got my own distribution. So I am enough. But it wasn't until I believed that in what God gave me, till I became who I am. And who I am today is enough. And everything that I am is affirmed in those two words, I am. Because those are the words of God.
Well, you know what? That sounds like we need to play Thank You.
Thank you, brother. That's right. Every morning.
That's
morning,
right.
You get up, and those should be the first words out of your mouth is thank you for another day, for another moment, for another breath of air. Because you know what? Somebody didn't wake up last night. And you know what, Troy? Quiet as it's kept. We in July. By December, New Year's Eve, somebody you know ain't going to be here.
Yeah.
Somebody famous ain't going to be here. Yeah. Somebody that you love ain't going to be here. Yeah. And you're going to be left to wonder why. Yeah. So the thing you got to do is get up, say thank you, and appreciate this day, and go be all that you can be.
Amen. And you know, on that note, that's the perfect introduction to thank you. We're going to play thank you, y'all. That's one of my favorite songs. And I heard you did that as a tribute with to Bob Marley or something.
Yeah, it was around the time that Bob Marley had passed. So Hubert and I wrote that song in dedication to Bob Marley on our album. And we were trying to get a copy at the time to Rita Marley. I don't know if Marvin Schlachter at Prelude ever did, because, you know, the means to getting to different people at that time was through the mail. And I ain't know nobody in Jamaica. I didn't even know a postal service in Jamaica, brother. So I don't know if we ever got it to her, but everyone who bought that album knows that that was my dedication, Hubert's dedication in memory of Bob Marley. And at the same time, my pastor's wife, Madam Ernestine B. Washington, she had passed. So we dedicated that album to them. And now with the advent of the new movie, you know, One Love, you know, where you get to look into the life of Bob Marley today as seen through his children's eyes and the eyes of so many others. Because there's things in that movie about his life I did not know.
No.
I didn't know that he couldn't go back to Jamaica. I didn't know that he had to live in London because of the Rastafari that treated him the way they did. You know, I didn't know that. And you learn about people. And you know what? It's more, we need movies like that. We need a Luther movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, they got a documentary coming out, don't they?
Michael Jackson's nephew, Jafar, is doing the Michael Jackson movie. But there needs to be somebody to do a Prince movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we need to be celebrated. What happens in America, and people ask me, why are you always going overseas to do shows? I said, because I go where I'm celebrated, not tolerated.
Mm-hmm.
In America, we're tolerated, and so many of these promoters feel like, you ought to be glad I'm giving you a gig. I got $500. I've been doing this for 45 years, and you got what?
Right.
No, I ain't doing it for that. And they get angry with you when they feel that your prices have changed or your numbers have changed. They're like, well, 10 years ago when I paid you this, well, 10 years ago, how much did you make?
Right. And what's the cost of living now compared to 10 years ago?
Hello, you know, and the cost of living and the cost of travel and everything else. Everything is always going up except your salary.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell artists all the time, stop devaluing yourself because of your age. They will lower your numbers because of your age. If you're 25, they'll give you what you want, especially if you had one-hit records. You could be people that had like 12 of them, like Russell Tompkins, stylists.
Mm-hmm.
He gets what he wants. But see, what happens is there's so many of our counterparts in the business that accept the dimes and the pennies. So they look at all of us to be the same as them. And they've had just as many hits as me or Russell. And they're like, well, why can't you do this? I just had Russell. I just had this one. I'm not that person. So then you're told, oh, he got the ego. Oh, he's a prima donna. Oh, D-Train thinks he's better than. No, I don't think that I'm less than. I value myself. I know my worth. And if you don't want to pay my worth, that's okay. I'm really cool with that. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to listen to my new album, very good. Change the channel. But what's happening now is a resurgence, a rebirth of D-Train. I'm emerging in the industry with this hit song. And this time around, it isn't so much about being as good as a Lionel Richie, as good as Morris Day in the time. Because back then, when you're a kid, it's about how many girls can I get tonight? Okay, can I jam? Can we kick Morris Day's ass on stage? You know what I mean?
Right.
All of that stuff. You want to be better than the next man. And this way around, you're already intact. You're already complete. You're not looking for trying to climb up the top of the mountain again. The music makes its way to the masses. How many lives can I change effectually through my music this time around? Because this time around, you got one choice, one chance, and one voice to say it in. I'm not saying it in the voice of Michael Jackson. I'm not saying it in the voice because my mother always said, always be the best version of yourself. Often imitated, but never duplicated. Mm-hmm. There's only one you. But I'm going to tell you, as she said, I'm going to tell you something. It's not about you. It never was, and it never will be. Because as good as you sing, there's somebody out there who's better than you. As good as you play football, there's somebody out there who's better than you. And there always will be. And maybe, I pray to Bruno Mars and all of them, Usher and all of them have long careers. Mm-hmm. But I can guarantee you one thing, in 10 years, we're going to be hearing somebody else sing a song.
You ain't lying.
And they're going to get their 15 minutes. And it's just, that's the law, the universal law of the record industry. Everybody gets 15 minutes at the top. And after that 15 minutes, you level off and you float. Now, if you bless to float in the next 40 years, like me, mm-hmm. and stay on and float on the water and go through the tide of the 90s and all the hip, I'm floating.
Right.
I'm good.
Right.
Now, here we at 2024. Time has come today. And you know what? I wrote the song about my fear. I was afraid, Troy, to come back. My insecurities, people wouldn't think of me as insecure. I was insecure because even though I write good songs, and my friend Al Ramirez, God rest his soul, he said, you're one of the best songwriters I know. He worked at Westwood One with Casey Kasem back in the day. And he said, out of all the songwriters in this world that I know, you're one of the best ones. And I said, wow. And, when you're friends with people, you take a compliment like,
yeah, you might be a little biased.
Right. You probably a little biased. But then you know what? I took my fears and I put them up on the shelf. And I took my faith and I took it off the shelf. And I uncorked the bottle and I took a sip. And I said, you know what? I can do this. And so I formed my record label. I got with a gentleman out here in Las Vegas called Charvet, the Don, who works with Tito Jackson and so many others in the record business. And I got distribution under him through Sony Music. And I said, wow, I'm doing it. I am the record company. Whoa, I'm not the artist. I'm the artist, producer, and record company and songwriter. There's a thought.
Right.
I didn't think I could do it. And so, throwing fear to the side, I'm opening up my arms to the universe. And I'm saying, wherever I land, whoever hears my voice, whoever hears my song, may they be blessed by it, and may the universe carry me to the heavens and make this song a Grammy winner.
Yeah.
Because by the time it gets to the Grammys, then I can speak in a voice of knowledge and wisdom to the ones that didn't make it. Because you got a lot of great songwriters that never get to that level.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of hit records, never been nominated. But this time around, I feel a Grammy. In fact, I speak a Grammy.
Yeah, speaking into existence.
Yeah, I speak a Grammy nomination. I speak a Grammy Award for this album because what happens is it speaks to everything that we're going through as human beings. A lot of artists, they talk about the booty call. They talk about, when we were coming up, man, we had to wonder what the booty looked like. Because the girls was bad. First of all, you didn't see a lot of big booties back when we was coming up. Girls were thin. They wasn't big like these girls today. I don't know what these children
what they eat
or whatever. But there's some big women.
Okay.
I'm serious. God, what the hell, man? If you even win the bedroom with that, man, you better have hair, hope, prayer. Then you better have oxygen tanks connected to the bed. You might not get up, Jack. But the reality of it is you want to touch people.
Yes.
You want to land on a pad because, see, Hubert gave me a pulpit to preach in for 40 years. He said, I'm going to give you a pulpit. You can preach in this pulpit for the next 40 years. I'm going to leave you. And he said it. I'm going to leave you. I'm going off to write with the strangers. I'm going off to write with Luther for Whitney Houston and so many others. You got it. I'm not even going to perform with you no more. You're on your own. Put your band together yourself. And that's what he did. He stepped off stage, and I stayed on stage. And I carried my legacy. He said, you're going to have to carry yourself through the 90 years. But I had good teachers. Billy Eckstein was one of my great teachers that I met at Jack the Rapper back in the day, who said to me, young man, I like the way you dress. Always dress like that. And I said, why? He said, whether you're dressy casual or even casual, be the person that the guy in the street looks up to. And so I learned from my teachers. I learned from Kashif. Kashif, when I won Artist of the Year at the 3rd Annual R&B Music Awards, I was presented my award by Kashif. And backstage, after he presented me the award and we walked off stage, he said, you have no idea the potential you have. You really don't, man. And I was 21 years old.
What's up, good people? This is bassist Hubert Eaves IV, and I'm chilling with my man Troy at Bass Entertainment. Tune in and stay safe.
We stopped at 5 albums in '88. That was my 5th album. I haven't done an album until then. I did one album, which was more like demos, when my mother died in 2006. 3 Japanese people bought it. Thank you very much, Osaka. Good night. But 3 Japanese people bought it and wrote me about it. Great album, too, songwriting-wise. I could have done more in the production end. But now I've worked with a lot of, and this time around, I said, I don't have to do it all. And I got Chris Palmero, who was a brilliant songwriter, producer in New York. I got songs from him. I got songs from Chris and Mark Cohen, who had Walking in Memphis. And when you lend your skills and your talent to collaborate and communicate with other artists, your music becomes effectual in change, because those artists, some of them made it to the top, some of them did. Mark Cohen won a Grammy for Walking in Memphis, but he had to give me permission for recording his song. And I did it. And it's on the album, and it's with a 16-piece orchestra recorded at Clinton Studios back in the early 2000s. And it took me 3 days to sing it. It's called Chains, because it talk about dropping things off of your life. I mean, that's what this thing is about. Peeling back the layers of yourself, Troy, and finding out, you know what? I can make it through today because I made it through yesterday. Yeah. And all I got is today. You know, I ain't worried about tomorrow because I don't control that.
That reminds me of Keep On. When you did Keep On, we played that in our house. My father used to play that for me to build up my self-confidence and stuff like that. He was like, yo, listen to this song right here. Well, he had to tell me to listen to it because I would listen to it anyway, but he was using it as a way to also to convey a message to me.
Well, you know what's interesting, and tell you know, is your dad still with us?
Yes, he is.
Please tell him I said thank you. Please tell him I said thank you. I wish I could have met Queen Latifah's mother. I got to interview her. She said her mother made her a sign. I think she was in junior high school or public school when Keep On came out. And she took it to school to talk about change. And her mother gave it, you know, they made little posters that they make. And she took it to school. And she said to me after the interview, she said, keep being who you are, because you change a lot of lives. When I was up at Sirius Radio doing my radio show, I was on Heart and Soul 51 from 2001 to 2008, from 12 to 6. And towards the end, we had guys calling in from Dannemora, Comstock, Sing Sing, Alcatraz, all these prisons saying to me, yo, man, they were writing me letters at the radio station. I'm doing life. I ain't never getting out. I'm never going to walk on the sidewalk, and I'm never going to see the light of day again. I'll never see my wife, kids, family. I'm in here for good. But this song lets me know that although these walls house my body, this song lets me know it doesn't have to house my mind. So when I hear Keep On, I'm free. Yeah. And that thing, Troy, when I heard that, man, I had to go in the bathroom and let it out, man. I was crying, man. Because when you learn that your song changed someone's mind or their life, we've got letters where people were going to commit suicide. And they wanted to die because they just got divorced or they just lost a child. And they started listening to Keep On. And it changed their lives. And so that's what I want this song to do. Time has come today. It lets you know your time is now. It ain't tomorrow. You don't have tomorrow. You don't even have yesterday. Yesterday ended last night. Yesterday ended last night. So whoever you need to say I'm sorry to, whoever you need to say I love you, you got to do it today. You got these 24 hours. You got these 30 seconds, these 60 seconds. Say it, do it, be it. Be an example to people and treat people the way you want to be treated. My mother gave me 3 examples, and I found it in a store at Hobby Lobby out here in Vegas. It says, work hard, stay humble, and be kind. Yeah. And if you can do those 3 things today, you've done your job.
Amen. I live by those 3 things myself.
Yeah, man.
You got to.
All the time. The time.
We might as well play Time Has Come today.
Amen, brother.
Shoot.
That's the new gospel.
We talked it up. We better play it for the peoples. Let's play it for the peoples.
That's right. That's right. Play it for the people.
Let's play it for the people. This is the latest single, y'all. I mean, I love it. I've been playing it all the time. This is called Time Has Come Today. And this is D-Train's latest single. Check it out.
Changes. Feel the current of the wind that rearranges. What I know keeps me going to a place inside myself where rivers flowing. Throwing caution to the wind because I see. You get to throwing caution to the wind because I see love is in me. It's my life, it's my time, it's my moment left to shine. No more fears, no regrets about my yesterdays. I am strong, it's my song, come to let you know. To say what's going on to find a better way. You must be strong.
And like you said, Marvin used to say, this definitely gives me that Marvin Gaye influence. It has that What's Going On album feel. And as we talk about the album that you said before that the 3 Japanese people bought, that the songs on there gave me a little Curtis Mayfield. You was giving me Curtis on that album.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Those are who we come from. We come from Curtis Mayfield. We come from Marvin Gaye. We come from James Brown. We come from Luther Vandross. We come from Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
We come from Otis Redding. We have so much of a plethora of royal richness in our blood, in our DNA as singers. I don't need to go to London to find that.
No.
London is an imitation of America.
Well, you know,
every singer that you hear in London is an imitation of a Motown thing.
Definitely.
And they get it from us.
They do.
But see, they don't know what it was like to go to the Apollo Theater on 125th Street and see the Temptations and the 5 Steps opening up for them.
Right.
And Kenny Burke. You know, I was there. They don't know what it was like to go to Black Family Day on Randall's Island.
No.
And see Elisha Muhammad speak for the first time with Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I was like 12 getting Jermaine Jackson posters because he had Daddy's Home at the time. Oh, Jesus. Daddy's Home. And so you're sitting in the audience. Jim Brown is up in the pulpit with Farrakhan and all of them. That was my legacy. And my sister made sure that I saw it. My dad made sure that I saw it. You know, when you raise with examples of excellence, but then you have those same examples in your home, you don't become a product of your environment.
You're telling the
you
truth.
become the excellence from your environment because they say, well, he came from where? What?
Yep.
He lived on what? Because when you tell people you lived on Franklin between Prospect and Park,
okay,
and you came up from 1962 through the 70s, there ain't much hope held out there. And you went to Erasmus.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And you didn't go to Brooklyn Tech.
Right. But you know, I was raised in the Linden houses in East New York.
Okay. Oh, man. And see what happens is they don't hold much hope for you. I grew up as a foster child, you know, in a foster home with beautiful parents. So there's hope, there's faith, but both of those things only exist where there's love.
Yeah.
That's a great common denominating factor.
Hey, this is Corey Day, and you're listening to Troy Saunders on the Bass Podcast.
So tell everybody when this whole album is going to come out.
Well, we're looking for a release date right now. In fact, my partner is getting ready to call me in about another hour because we got the single. The single is, it's just going into different markets so quick. We just got a call from Budapest this morning. And I'm like, Budapest? And they're like, yeah, Budapest. I can't even spell Budapest. B-U-D. You know, but it's like, it's a God shot because when you allow yourself to be anchored in your faith and in the universe, you let God do the rest. You just put it out there and say, hey, Father, it's in your hands now. That's all I did. Mm-hmm. Hey, Father, I got this music. I've been afraid to show. And he said, look at your songs as your children and release them to the universe and let me do the rest. And I said, okay, I have a song on my album that was not written by me. It was dictated to me from a slave.
Wow, that's deep.
I was writing a song. I was trying to write a ballad, and I was praying, and I was crying while I was writing it. And this voice came to me. He said, don't write a ballad. He said, write about me. I'll tell you my story. And in the spirit, this slave, this brother who was a slave, dictated everything about coming through the door of no return, how they used to keep them on the docks in the sunshine until it was dark. They would put them on the boats. He said if a police boat came up against them and wanted to know what the cargo was, they would dump the slaves in the middle of the ocean, babies included, and then just go pick up another load of slaves and let the ones drown because they didn't want to get busted. And then he said he remembered, I mean, this is all in the song. He remembers after they got to America, they took him to New Orleans. And he's standing on the auction block in the French Quarter. And his kids were being sold off to another family. And he and his wife had to go with this other slave owner. And they went to the slave owner's house. And after 3 days, the good old boys got drunk and came in the middle of the night and took his wife out and gang raped her. And they let him hear it. And he said, the first time they raped his wife, she came back, oh, and he's comforting her. The second time, she's afraid of him to touch her. The third time, she's looking at him like, why didn't you do something? Even if you had to die. That's how, and he said, that's how the black man lost his power.
Yeah.
That's how we lost our families. That's how we lost our heritage. That's how we lost it all. And then they would make us fight one another, like you see in Django Unchained, to turn us against each other. Because if you look at the unity in any other community, it's always a unity and togetherness. Koreans support Koreans. Mexican support Mexican. Dominican support Dominican.
Yeah.
Black people, we always run to white people to look for support. We don't turn to another brother or sister and say, you know what? They could be qualified, more than qualified, because we've always had to be that.
Right.
And we don't put our trust in that. So that's, not a good thing. But you learn from those mistakes, and you try only through conversations like what we're having. Maybe somebody's listening that is in a position of power as a Black person. Say, you know what? Let me give that kid a chance.
Yeah.
Let me give that person a chance. Hopefully they can trust me and I can be enough for them to excel. Because, you look at all the athletes in the NBA. How many of them are doing what LeBron James is doing?
Not a lot.
Everybody's partying.
Yeah. He's building homes for people. He's doing so much.
And diamonds around their neck, trying to look like Rick Ross. But how many of them are bringing about effectual change? Boys and girls clubs,
yeah.
YMCAs, a place where the kids can get off the streets.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to raise killers.
No, we don't.
That's what Marvin was talking about. What's going on? Muhammad Ali said, that Chinese man didn't kill me.
Right.
That Vietnamese brother didn't shoot me. I'm not going over there to shoot him. And they stripped him of everything that he won. See, what happens is in America, you can rise to the top of the game and you can be a billionaire or whatever. There is a conglomerate at the top, behind the scenes, that will strip you of everything that you are or that you think you are, to let you know, I control this piece. Goes way back to slavery. I'm the master. You still the slave. You dance when I say dance. It's people talk about it. They don't like to talk about it, but it's real.
It is real. I am glad you are here and you dropping so many gems.
Thank you, brother.
Giving people something to think about as well as music.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Music, the thing about music, when you hear it, when you hear your favorite song,
they give you something to think about.
Exactly where you were when you first heard it, what you was doing, who you was with, what room you was in, what street you were on, what job you had when you were working, whether you was a teenager, whether you was an adult, whether you was a kid, whether your mama played it in the house. You remember all of that. And nobody has to tell you that. It's just instantaneous. And then you feel those same feelings that you felt as a kid. And, you ain't worried about the IRS coming after you no more. You ain't worried about tax liens and all that. You like, oh, Reach is singing Respect. Or Dion singing I'll Say a Little Prayer for You. Or Gladys singing Midnight Train to Georgia. You don't think about that stuff. You're just like, oh, man, I remember 1970. Yeah, I remember watching them on the Ed Sullivan Show and seeing them on Dick Clark. I got to work. I was blessed to work in a session out here the other day with Bubba Knight.
Oh, okay.
Who was the Pips.
Right.
He's 80
Gladys'
years
brother.
old, man. still going strong, man, looking good, him and his wife, Kathy. And man, I just feel so honored and blessed to be in the room with that man. You know, I got to work with Gladys on The Butler, the movie, on a song that Lenny Kravitz wrote for her. We did The Tonight Show on television, and we got to do 2 days of rehearsal at SIR in New York with Gladys. Sweetest woman you ever want to know. It was like a Georgia peach living in Vegas.
Hey, this is David Sosa, the Latin Prince of Soul, and I'd like to congratulate my friend Troy Saunders and the Bass Entertainment Podcast on 100 episodes and 3 years of uplifting and supporting indie artists. Thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you so much for the platform. And thank you so much for the legacy. Here's to 100 more episodes and many more years to come.
I was called into a lot of work by my peers. Fonzie Thorpe would say, hey, D, Luther wants you on Dance with My Father's album. I said, okay. Audrey Wheeler would say, hey, D, I'm doing Cher's new album, the Believe album. You want to do it? Yeah, okay. And they drug me in the different directions. Daryl Tukes, you know, Patty Austin would call me up. D, we're doing Quincy's 75th birthday at the Nokia Theater on Broadway. You in? Okay. Who else going to be there? Al Jarreau, Ashford Simpson, Gloria Stefan, Tony Bennett. James don't feel like James Ingram didn't feel like singing 3 songs. And they wanted me to sing In the Heat of the Night for the 2 writers that wrote it. And I was like, okay. Cool. My buddy Rob Mathis pulled me into, he said, D, the Pope is coming to town. He's coming to Madison Square Garden on his New York visit. I ain't Catholic, man. I don't know nothing about Catholicism. But to me, it was work.
Yeah.
You know, and I did it. And it was amazing to be standing in front of every Pope and Pontiff in the world at Madison Square Garden on that floor, singing on Angel's Wings for the Pope. And it, you know, that would probably be one of the heights of my career, singing for the Pope in Madison Square Garden.
That's got to be incredible.
You know, other than that, I had 3 years at the White House, singing for Barack and Michelle Obama at the Kennedy Center Honors. You know, but what happens is, like my mother always says, your gifts will make room for you. But you have to make room for your gifts for them to work.
Yeah.
You have to believe in them. And see, belief is a great denominator, or the equinator, if you want to say it, because belief makes all things equal.
It's true.
Belief makes all things equal. When you believe you can, you will. When all you got to do is say it, believe it, and manifest it. And you hear a lot about manifesting videos and so on and so on. So it works.
Yep, it does. It does.
Yeah, man.
Well, we've been on it for like an hour and a half. I'm going to I wish we could keep on talking because I mean it's so many, you know, you can always come back. Matter of fact, come back when the album come out.
Brother. The album will probably be coming out the end of this month.
Okay.
But when we're ready, I will definitely have Chantel get in touch with you, brother, and let you, and I'll send you all my information after we're done here.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Yeah, man. So we stay in touch.
Yeah. Like Hubert's son, Hubert Eaves IV.
Right.
And we graduated the same year. He was in my class.
Okay. We call him Little Hugh.
Little Hugh.
That's what we call him. We call him Little Hugh.
But he taller than his father though.
Oh, well, you know what? Little Hugh was so bad when he came out with when he came out as a bass player with Lisa Lisa Cult Jam. They put him in a cage at Madison Square Garden with a drum set. He played the bass and the drums on the same gig because that's how bad he is.
He is bad. That's a bad brother.
He's a bad little something, man. He ain't little no more.
No.
But I remember watching him in high school. He was just sitting in the living room. He wasn't out playing. His friends would be in the street playing basketball. He was sitting in the living room playing his bass, learning his bass. Because that's what his father did. And that's what his father taught him. And he didn't have to beat it into his head. You know, like, yo, you better get in the room, dude. No, he just said, if you want it, go get it.
You naturally had a love for it.
Life is a choice. You can choose to live it, or you can choose to watch it go by. And in choosing life, live your dream. Live your dream life. Because if you don't live your dream life, others will make you work for them so that they can live theirs.
Tell them, boy, you just dropping all the gems tonight.
So wonderful being with you, Troy.
Man, I just want to tell you, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Come on back. Don't be a stranger.
Absolutely, brother. When the album comes out, I'll come back and we can go through the songs.
All right, that sounds good to me.
And we'll introduce them to the world.
All right, sounds good to me. You just let me know.
Troy, love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming
so
on.
much, man.
And we're gonna go out with Keep On.
All right, let's do it.
Keep on, baby.
All right, you keep on, Troy.
All right, you too now. And it's been a pleasure. Much love. And thank you, everybody. I hope you've been enjoying this episode. We've been talking to the incredible Mr. D-Trade. Yes.
All right, brother.
Yes. And once again, thank you for checking out the Bass Entertainment Podcast. We have been having a great time today. And let's continue to love one another, because there's a lot of things out there trying to bring us down and make us feel bad. Hopefully this, if you were feeling down or if you're feeling any kind of way, this is bringing you some type of love and happiness. That's what we do here at Bass, is spread love and happiness. And if you are feeling down, this song is for you. Keep on, all right? Peace. Love y'all.
Hey, it's your girl, Allison Williams.
Hey, this is Devon Howard.
Hi, this is Beth.
Hi, this is Cindy Mizell.
Hi, this is Tony Walker.
Hey, what's good, y'all? This is Darian Dean.
Hey, everybody, this is the Queen of Philadelphia, Tangeray Hayward.
Hey, everybody, this is Yasdura.
Hi, this is Mason.
Hey, everybody, this is Russell Taylor.
Hey, guys, what's up? This is Ness.
Hey, this is Kenny Allen.
What's up, everybody? This is Cecily.
Hey, this is Corey Day.
Hey, this is your girl, Castella.
Hey, everybody, this is Rebecca J.
Hey, everyone, this is Hill Street Soul.
What's up, good people? This is bassist Hubert Eaves IV.
This is Melvin Lee Davis.
Yo, what's second? This is Noel Gordine.
Hey, this is your girl, Lady Alma, and you're listening to my friend Troy Saunders on the Bass Entertainment Podcast.